you set out any personal goals for yourself from a pass rushing standpoint?
I got to get to the quarterback every game. Got to get to the quarterback. Every day, just work on getting better at that area and stopping the run.
What's your go-to?
Sort of been a collective buy-in among the D-line group. That's been a theme, through the spring and now, coming into the preseason camp, and you guys are 6 practices in. How has that sort of continued in your perspective?
I feel like we just can't have an off day. It's going to be somebody different. One day it could be me leading the D-line. Next day it could be Omar, TJ, Nesta. It was just going to be somebody always going to have that energy each day. And we hold a higher standard to ourselves, not just on D-line, but the whole defense. We got to be the energy for the whole defense.
Mm-hmm.
We lead the defense, and then that's going to carry on throughout the games.
And Coach Rodriguez mentioned, especially with Blazin making that one play, on the first day, and sort of he mentioned how he does his job, he gets in good spots, and therefore he can make plays. How much has that been a sort of an overall sentiment that he's been giving to you and everyone else?
It's been good. Coach Rod, he really encouraged us, on the good things, he's going to tell us, you did a good job, and on bad things, he's going to tell us, what we didn't do, too. So I think that's, a key point. He's not going to beat around the bush. He will be straight with us, and that's one thing, I favor him about.
And how comfortable do you feel as far as, your role on the outside, your different assignments at this point in time?
I feel 100% confident. I'm ready for the season. I'm just counting down the days at this point, because it's just how I've been working this summer. I've really been honing in on my craft, so I ain't got no excuses this year.
We've all seen Robbie Harrison. He's like a beast. Have you ever seen a true freshman like him?
No, I haven't. He's huge. He's just in the weight room. He be lifting 5 plates on squats and stuff. He's just a big guy, and I'm happy that he's with us and he's not on the other team. But he's a good kid. He's working with us, and we've been really brought him in as a family.
Coach Rodriguez mentioned you as far as some of the players that have stood out in terms of, along his years here with the program, who have developed the most. What has kind of allowed you to take those steps, at least from your personal perspective?
Actually trusting him. At first when I got here, all the coach changes and that stuff happened. So, I was uncomfortable. I didn't know who he was, and he really didn't know me either. But he didn't treat me as that. He treated he recruited me, and that's what I'm favored for. So actually, when I seen he wasn't gonna coach me no different way, it was just honed in on there. So when I actually sat down and talked with him and actually watched film and do all the little stuff, I see he best coach I ever been with, so everything worked out in the favor.
So you think that sort of development allowed you to really hone in on your technique, and that's kind of really pushed you?
Yeah, way long. I feel this year is just going to be different. Last year, a lot of pass rush, doing a lot of pass rush things, but actually sitting down, getting in that 5 and 6 second stop of the run this year is what we honed on, and I think I got way excelled on that level.
Coach Henderson said a few weeks ago that the defensive line is going to have to be the catalyst for this defense if you guys are going to repeat how good you were last year.
Yeah.
Do you feel that more as a pressure or more as an honor?
I feel it's more of an honor. I feel that's the expectation we hold ourselves to anyway. So just when the coach said, we know that's what we got to do. So, but hearing a coach say it is good too. But as a D-line, we all know we got to set the tone up front every day, every game, every practice, start with us.
Seems like you guys have been rotating a lot. What makes that difficult?
I don't see it difficult. I think it's kind of better, where it gets the rest. But it gets we seeing everybody. We seeing how everybody play different. And then it's going to players is coaching the other players. Coach Rod would step in, but it's usually one of us hopping in and correcting the player before he even gets to us. So I feel that's taking a big step too. And that's how it goes.
What are some of the specifics that have allowed you to expand your game, beyond just sort of the pass rush aspect, and now being able to be sufficient as well in the run game? Stopping the run game.
The extra work this summer, not just me, me and all the D-line, we would make sure after lift, going outside, let's get some extra work. After practice, get some extra work. We just had to work on it. But this is what Coach Rod made sure we do. Y'all needed to work on the run. Y'all want to get better at the run, y'all got to work on something. So, literally for 2 months, every day, we punching something, hitting something, staying low, working on our pad level. And that's just transitioned over to practice.
And what are some of the habits that he's really tried to get you guys to take on to be able to be good in all of those different ways?
Staying low, extension, punching with your hands, fighting off blocks, you know, reading, tackles, and you know, a lot of stuff like that.
Is it a little overwhelming with all of the stuff that comes your way? You know, with Coach Rod, you know, every day in, day out, it's something different. You know, trying to take that next step and next step and next step. What have you how have you kind of dealt with that? You know, you've been with him a while, and are you comfortable with that at this point?
Yeah. At first, when I first came in, I would say it was a lot. Like it was a lot of information, and it was like a new game of football he was teaching us. It felt like I didn't know how to play football at that point. But when I actually sat down and actually worked and actually slowed things down, it was like everything worked out. Like everything was making sense. Everything he was saying happened for a reason. Like he wasn't just saying stuff to say it. Like we was watching it and it would happen. So you know, actually doing this stuff and be able to take it out on the field, it's my game just went to the next level, and I appreciate it.
And with some of the young guys now in that similar position, you know, first year really early on getting a feel for Coach Rodriguez, have you kind of had some of the conversations with guys like Robbie, Blazin, any of the newcomers, you know, as far as allowing or helping them adapt to that sort of coaching style?
Yeah, it's kind of funny now that like now it's on the player's job to tell like the freshmen like we was the same, we was in the same boat, we was all confused, it seemed weird because all of them, they always looking up at big guys, or they they be like, you sure? But we be like, yeah, he's gonna be right in the long run. Like it was weird at first, but you gotta really just stick to it, and you actually try to listen to him and really hone in on the things he's saying. You can be a great player.
Who's broke the most sleds out of the group?
Let's see. I think Robbie broke one today. Last week I think Matus had one.
Yeah.
So I think maybe like me and Coop got another one. Like we shared one. So it's kind of a tie right now. We all got at least one.
It seemed like in the spring you guys were like working out of 2 sleds.
Yeah, at that point. But now at least we got something back. We down about 3.5 now. But, they probably gonna keep breaking by the end of the season though.